My name is John Biddiscombe, and it is my distinct pleasure to serve as the Master of Ceremonies for the 4th Annual Induction Ceremony for the Wesleyan Athletics Hall of Fame. It is very exciting for me to see such a sold-out crowd comprised of family members, friends, alumni, alumnae, Wesleyan community members, joining us this evening to honor this outstanding class of former athletes and coaches. It's just such a pleasure to be in a room full of people who love Wesleyan athletics.
Making comments. So welcome to the Hall of Fame dinner. I want to thank John Biddiscombe, Dennis Robinson, Laura James for all their energy in making this Hall of Fame a reality. It is so exciting to get to know these wonderful athletes and coaches. I had invited captains of our athletic teams to my office for lunch. Boy, can they eat. 60 captains. And they all came for lunch and to give me advice about the campus community. And it was actually extremely instructive and lots of fun. I want to tell you that a couple of people who really wanted to be here who aren't able to be here. Buck Freeman, who's one of the great friends of this institution and was supposed to be very far away, and he was changing all his plans because his career as a Wesleyan athlete meant so much to him. And unfortunately, he's under the weather and not able to be here, but I know he's with us in spirit. And then I had an email from Bill Belichick, who was trying to get out of this engagement he has in San Diego because he just said, he wants to be here for a lot of you, especially Coach Jackson, and he's thinking of us tonight. And I said, just focus on the defense.
And to get started, I want to make you aware of the Athletic Advisory Council. This group has been very supportive of the athletic programs at Wesleyan and has provided leadership in fundraising, mentoring, and program support. Now it is my pleasure to introduce members of the AAC that are in attendance tonight. Please stand when I call your name, and let's hold our applause until they all have been recognized. Dennis Robinson, co-chair for the class of 1979. Dennis, would you please rise? Nora James, co-chair of the ACC and vice chair of the Board of Trustees in the class of 1978. Alan Dax, former chair of the Board of Trustees in the class of 1970.
I know him.
James Dresser, former chair of the Board of Trustees in the class of 1963. Daniel Lynch, class of 1980. Steve Pfeiffer, former chair of the Board of Trustees in the class of 1969. Let's hear it for these folks. It is not often that Wesleyan Hall of Fame gets to honor someone that has distinguished themselves as an outstanding athlete, an international business giant, a former trustee, a worldwide philanthropist, and a true friend of Wesleyan. Buck Freeman is that person.
It's a real honor to accept this award on Buck's behalf. When I arrived here 12 years ago, in the very fortunate footsteps of another inductee this evening, I met Buck, I believe, in my second year here. For those of you who know Buck or have seen him, he arrived in a trench coat and was walking down the hallway. And you would never have known his accomplishments and his generosity and his passion for the sport and passion for this school. And I believe the first thing he would say if he were standing where I am today is, wow, I am honored. I am fortunate. And I think the first thing he would do was congratulate his fellow inductees and say, gosh, I feel lucky to be here with you. So congratulations, first of all, to the other inductees. Well done. I think the greatest thing that Buck offered was his ability to make those around him better. And he would be the first to point out maybe his undefeated season, but as opposed to looking at himself, he might look at Doc and Tink, his teammates, the ones who provided him the passes to create the moments for himself. And he was absolutely honored and blessed to be able to return the compassion that his teammates felt for him, and that in turn they felt for this school. Because Wesleyan provided Buck the platform to achieve such success.
John Ketcham ranks among Wesleyan's greatest swimmers. Specializing in the backstroke, in the individual medley, he won 8 New England titles and was a 3-time All-American. His most impressive achievements may have come during his junior year when he won New England and NCAA College Division Championships in the 100 backstroke and the 200 backstroke and the 200 individual medley, setting New England records in all 3 events. Shortly thereafter, he went on to place 4th in the NCAA University Division in the 100 backstroke and 10th in the 200 backstroke.
Filled with incredible memories about my brother, but let me give you a little history. First of all, I should say that I'm honored and humbled to be here, and I know if he were speaking on his behalf tonight, he would start out by saying he's honored and humbled as well. John was 3 years behind me in school, 3 classes behind me, 2 years chronologically. I was fortunate to start our swimming careers and he was my follow. And I can remember back one summer when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, I guess, setting the across the pool and back record at our summer meet. And 2 years later, when my younger brother John entered that race, he eclipsed my record. Well, that would continue throughout our lives. But you know, I never complained, I was never bitter, I was never resentful, and he was never boastful. He was the kind of person that pushed his brother onward, and I hope that I had a similar inspiration for him.
When I first came to Wesleyan in the fall of 1974, the year after Bob graduated, I repeatedly heard from the coaching staff how difficult it was going to fill the loss of Bob Heller and his play at center. To a man, whether coach or player, everyone was going to miss his leadership and his outstanding talent. Bob displayed for 2 years as a varsity starter. As an offensive lineman, though, Bob was considered an undersized yet rugged center at 6'2", 205. He was also considered the top small college center in the nation in both his junior and senior seasons. The American Football Coaches Association named him a Division III Kodak All-American in 1972 and 1973. He was also named in both seasons to the All-New England and All-Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference teams.
And then when I came back my junior year, I went to Bill McNamara and said I'd like to try out for center. Now, he was there for that Hindenburg year I had the year before, so he knew that I had something to prove, and he was from the very get-go. He was completely supportive, and he had 3 centers already lined up, but he backed me from day 1 to do it, and he backed me through the entire season and the following season, and I'll always be thankful to Mac for that. Third person specifically I want to talk to was Brian Hersey, and I know you're here somewhere, but there we go. Oh, here's some. Okay. Because there was a reason at the end of the season that people looked at Wesleyan to think about postseason honors. And as far as the center's concerned, it was Brian Hersey. A 3-time All-New England, he was there. By default, they looked to Wesleyan, and I just happened to be there, and I appreciate that. But the other reason I want to thank him is he came back the next year after he graduated. He was the assistant offensive line coach and worked with me and taught me what it meant to be a center, what it meant to lead the interior line. And I will always be thankful for that. And I told him that, and I'd like you all to know that he was incredibly responsible for what I was able to accomplish.
It is very difficult for someone to achieve the status of a Wesleyan athletic legend in their lifetime. However, Rich is one of those rare individuals that are regarded as a legend in men's ice hockey. Rich is the most prolific scorer in the history of Wesleyan's men's ice hockey. In the 87 games of his 4 seasons, Rich registered 202 career points, still a program record. His 122 career goals also represents a program standard. Similarly, he established the record for points in a season twice, with 59 points during both his sophomore and junior years. His 37 goals in the 1974-75 season also remain a record, securing his place atop all-time seasonal and career list for goals and points.
Thank you, John. Listening to all the stories about goals and assists, I got to be thankful that I played an era when the goaltending wasn't very good. It's great to be here this evening. I thank you for all for showing up. I can't begin to tell you how honored and humbled I am to be selected to join this outstanding group of Wesleyan athletes. It's been almost 35 years since I last played hockey at Wesleyan. Let me tell you, it doesn't feel like 35 years. And of course, none of us have gotten any older. We all look like we did 35 years ago. I have great memories of my time at Wesleyan. Playing hockey was but one part of my Wesleyan experience, although a very important part.
Terry Jackson used soccer and lacrosse to educate scholar athletes. From 1968 to 1998, he led the men's soccer team for 31 years, while also coaching the men's lacrosse team for 23 years. Early in his tenure, Terry coached the freshman men's basketball for 3 years and junior varsity lacrosse for 5 years before he became the head coach. Although soccer was Terry's passion, he took his assignment in lacrosse very seriously, and under his leadership, the team improved immediately, and even his early teams were among the most competitive small college teams in New England. Terry had an outstanding soccer team, and Terry's Wesleyan soccer teams won 2 ECAC New England Division III titles, the first in 1980 behind a 12-2 record, and the second in 1991 when the Cardinals posted a record of 15-1-1. Those 15 wins are still the most by a Wesleyan men's soccer team through the 2009 campaign. Terry sought out the best competition available in New England. Harvard was a regular on the schedule in the early and mid-1970s, and Wesleyan defeated the Crimson 3 out of 7 times. Also, Division I University of Connecticut was on the schedule for 10 years, from 1968 to 1978, and right up to the end of that rivalry, Wesleyan was beating the Huskies. No wonder they dropped us, Terry.
This honor tonight to me represents the greatest milestone in my journey through life as a coach. It puts an exclamation point on the years I spent at Wesleyan, and it says thank you from all my former players, students, and from Wesleyan University. And that alone is reward enough. I certainly did not make this journey alone. I've had special people with me every step of the way. I had parents who gave me a solid foundation upon which to build. I was blessed to have coached so many good players and to have taught so many fine individuals through both classes and teams. I was fortunate to have worked with outstanding colleagues, staff, and assistant coaches, a number of them who are here tonight. Some of them are former players who came back without my ever having to go after them and twist their arms. They did it willingly, and I certainly appreciated that. Carl Cavrell being one of them. Marion Stoy helped out at different times. Just outstanding people all the way. I've had friends give me advice. Each of you, who I've just named, have shared in this honor with me tonight. And each of you have impacted me in one way or another.
As I am about to read some headlines from local newspapers, state and also statewide, as well as the Argus, I'm going to read some headlines, and as we do that, we're going to roll some film footage from the '69 season. So here they are. Wesleyan coach high on Revenant as he scores 3 in win over Bowdoin. Defensive unit, Allen excel in the win over Coast Guard. Holbrook breaks New England PAT record. Unbeaten Wesleyan topples Worcester 21-13. Wesleyan wins 5th, defeats Amherst behind Pansiera's 3 TD passes. Defense intercepts 5 passes and blocks 2 punts. Reserves fill gap and win over Hamilton. Wesleyan extends streak to 6 games. Russell holds early Monday morning practices. Wesleyan, #1 in New England grid rankings. Cards capture crown with win over Williams. Wesleyan defeats Trinity for perfect season. Cards voted #1 in the East. Lambert Cup to Wesleyan. And Waters brings home the bacon. In all, it was a season that to some was unexpected. But when the final horn sounded, Wesleyan was undefeated, untied, Little 3 champions, New England College Division champions, winners of the Lambert Cup, Coach of the Year honors for Don Russell, and 4 players elected to the New England first team. I would now like to introduce captain of the 1969 football team, Jeff Diamond, who will in turn recognize the members of the squad and Coach Russell.
I'm so excited to be here tonight and celebrate some of my favorite people. Our lives have gone in many different areas, and it's nice to be remembered. What do you do? God. I'd like to we bring the guys up in that 59 season. It's one of our greatest memories of it was. And I'd call number 15, Bob Allen. Blake Allison. Number 63, Bob Bastris. Number 75, Mike Blake. Number 86, Gary Burnett. Number 65, John Burns. I got a little problem with this next one. It says number question mark. Be it 30 or 80. Leslie Burton. 72. Pete Clark. Number 21, George Basanos. Number 52, John Glenn. Number 41, Don Graham. Number 53, Brian Hersey. Number 84, Charlie Holbrook. 78, Mike Kishbach. 43, Jim Lynch. Number 89, Brendan Marinan. Number 14, Bob Medwood. Number 85, Jack Meyer. Number 66, Bob Medwood. Number 34, Dave Revenant. Number 50, Rick Scoggins. Number 31, Sandy Tucci. Number 25, Frank Waters. Number 22, Casey Waters. And last but surely not least, the man who put it all together, Coach Don Russell.
You all know it. Our students today all know it. And we usually do it standing up, a little bit of clapping, and at the very end you'll find we do a little pumping of the fist with Go West. So when we get to the end, don't forget, pump the arm, Go West, quasi-modal, lead us.